II Society didn't just portray the streets. It was born from them.
Hey, what the motherfucking video say?
But behind this legendary movie was chaos, fistfights, real gangs on set, betrayals, and a firing so explosive it sparked a lifelong feud. This is the untold truth of Menace II Society. Before the cameras.
What's that?
This shit playing like again.
Why is it playing like that? They made a documentary, nigga.
Yeah, dramatic.
Alan and Albert Hughes, two fresh directors from LA, had a vision. They wanted to show America what the streets really looked like. No Hollywood sugarcoating, just raw life.
We thought that the news media was not explaining the inner city that well. They had not done any real in-depth journalism on why these kids are this way. So that motivated us telling the story.
They cast mostly unknowns, hunted for talent that felt real.
Yo, this movie was the beginning of something very bad. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
In so many ways, like we enjoyed it. I remember ingesting this material when I was,
As a young man.
As a young man. But this movie, maybe 9-2 or whatever. They're gonna break it down exactly when it came out. I would say maybe 9-2, something like that. It came out after Boys in the Hood, which was dope. But this one
was
people
Boys in the Hood
about.
2.0.
Yeah, niggas was talking about this. This was before the Y, before Y ends was Y ending. We was
it was these dudes.
Yeah.
Niggas, hurry up. Go in there, book them niggas and get the out. Don't be playing.
I think honestly the reason why Bob Shane New Line decided to give this movie a chance, especially with two 20-year-olds like that hadn't done anything before, was, and I wouldn't have said this in the past, but I think Boys in the Hood had a lot to do with it.
And then they cast Tupac Shakur. Tupac was set to play Sharif, a former thug turned Muslim preaching peace. But there was one problem. Tupac didn't believe it at all. Why would a militant brother become soft all of a sudden? Tupac asked. He challenged the script, argued with the Hughes brothers. Day after day, tension grew until it exploded. Tupac was fired.
You know,
This nigga's like, I'm not doing this shit. Right. It don't make sense.
and it was helping them all the way. They got a little movie deal. Try to act.
I mean, I think it would have made sense had the militant brother experienced some sort of pain.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. They could have wrote that in.
They could have wrote that in. Maybe he lost somebody very close to him or whatever, and then
But
for that
remember,
reason,
the militant brother had his pops and all that.
Right. But that will also, I mean, that to me that makes some sense.
Yeah. Charles Dutton. Shout out to Charles Dutton, one of my favorite
Absolutely.
actors.
Yeah.
Played
He
his
just
pops.
raised him right.
Yes, he had a father in his life.
Yeah. He just raised him right.
Yeah, that's what
On me, you understand me? And thought I was gonna choose a career before I choose my principles, my manhood. So I said, okay, cool, fire me from this $100,000 movie because I ain't gonna play no gangbanger who's a Muslim. There ain't no such thing. I refuse to.
Well, that was then.
Nah, respect.
Right.
He ain't playing the role. I mean,
But that's not what Sharif was. He wasn't even a banger. He was
Yeah,
just from
I
the
don't think-
neighborhood.
right, he-
They might have made changes since that happened.
right. But the way he's saying it and the way it was portrayed, that character was portrayed was too. Yeah, he wasn't no gangbanger. In the movie.
Yeah. In the movie, he came from a good home, and
Well, maybe they had to write it. They're writing for Tupac now, mind you.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe because of their falling out, they switched it. They was like, yeah, maybe it don't make sense, but that don't mean we gotta tell him.
Parts that don't exist. I will be a young nigga, but I will be a real young nigga.
But he didn't walk away quietly. Months later, he and his crew jumped the Hughes brothers in public.
Brothers, I don't know if this is true, but this was also written in the article, that you heard on MTV News that you've lost that part. And that whole story, was that all true?
It's all true. Only thing that's not true is that my friends beat them up. Only thing that wasn't true is that I got boys to beat them up. The true part is that, true to the matter, me and them had a problem, and he got his ass kicked. You know, I didn't jump on him or anything. It was both brothers standing there. It just so happened that one of his brothers was a coward and he ran.
Did you know they shot parts of the film in real gang territory?
Hey nigga, I wanna know if you ready.
But shit, what part of LA ain't gang territory?
Do this shit. Yeah, nigga, break your motherfucking stuff, fool.
Some cast members had to hide their affiliations to survive. Others were affiliated for real. The line between movie and reality blurred. Rumors say certain extras were active gang members. There were days when the crew feared for their lives. And then there was Lorenz Tate playing O-Dog.
Lorenz Tate, who plays O-Dog, the badass in the movie. It was amazing because we don't go for cliches, but at the time we thought we're gonna get this big, black, buff guy, got lacerations in his face and ashy knuckles, and he's gonna play O-Dog.
He was so convincing, so dangerous on screen,
Videotape right now. Hey, nigga, hey.
that even real gang members thought he was one of them.
Yeah, he was too dead on.
Damn. But that was a character. He was in character.
Yeah, he was in character, but for a lot of people, he was just so dead on. They was like, yeah.
He probably went to private school though.
Yeah. He's just a trained actor.
Yeah, he trained actor, man. Respect.
And the idea, I'm telling you, this movie was impactful and it was persuasive in a lot of young kids' minds. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Not excluding the people who were currently living, if you
Right.
living in LA, and I'm not from over there, and we had our own street problems and this.
But
that,
it exposed other.
This in this way.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they were moving over there was a little bit different than we were moving, and it's certainly I saw things turn up after that. Let's say that.
Smoke anybody, nigga. I just don't give a.
Just hit us in the head. We go, this is even scarier. This charming losing kid oozing all this evil.
People weren't acting scared around him. They were genuinely afraid. Crew members would avoid eye contact between takes. Extras stayed quiet around
MC8 real
him.
niggas.
Some even assumed he was.
Yeah, MC8.
MC8 from there.
Yeah, he was from there. He was true.
Yeah.
And to me, if anybody was scary, it wasn't O-Dog. It was MC8. He was the one that was.
MC8 was real. I mean, besides being a rapper and an LA dude, he true to that guy.
Yeah, if I felt like somebody was coming off the screen, like, yo, this is the real one. That's how I felt about MC8 and that.
Yeah.
Real gang member just playing himself. That's how convincing he was. That's how deep he went. Years later, even the Hughes brothers admitted Lawrence scared them a little too. And here's where the line between cinema and real life started to blur. Because while Lawrence Tate was a trained actor, raised in a tight-knit family, far from the streets, once that camera rolled, he became O-Dog.
So I gotta flip this. I have to really go.
All right, he could have kept all that.
No matter how many roles he took, romantic leads, dramas, even comedies, people still saw O-Dog. They couldn't let it go.
I think that's more on the white people side, cause
we
know Lorenz Tate.
Yeah, he a talented actor.
Yeah, cause look, Love Jones was a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, niggas know him as
Yeah,
O-Dog,
Love Jones
but
is the business.
he been stopped being O-Dog to me. Like,
Yeah. What's the other joint? Dead Presidents.
Dead Presidents. Yeah, that also another
come
classic.
on, man.
And then he killed it just now on Power. If you watched any of that, he like a crooked politician.
Some casting directors straight up said he was too intense, too real. And in the streets, things got even more complicated. There were whispers that real gang members thought he was repping a set. He had to navigate that world carefully, staying respectful, staying low-key. Because that role, that one role, had made him a symbol in places he never asked to be one. Lawrence once said that playing O-Dog was both a blessing and a curse. It put him on the map.
I don't know why they keep doing that scary voice.
I don't know either, man.
Where's that coming from?
Swag.
When I seen Tupac and Jada, they was wrestling.
What you mean wrestling?
Like homies, like you know how you wrestle your homeboy, like say Jada running and Tupac chase her and then he grab her and they wrestling like in a fun way.
Almost walked away. She said the set felt volatile.
She's still worried about that nigga. To this fucking day. God damn.
Right, you
Like one wrong word, and it could all explode. And if all that wasn't enough, Hollywood tried to shut it down. Some execs thought it was too violent, too real, too black.
No, they didn't.
Sponsors pulled out. Distribution got messy. But
That was time for the scary voice.
Who is this person?
Distribution got messy.
brothers didn't stop. They fought to finish the movie. And when the film dropped, it blew the roof off. Menace to Society became a cultural earthquake. Critics praised it. Audiences were shocked. Hollywood was
that? I just noticed what I was witnessing. I was a bunch of white girls with little updos and baby hairs and shit.
Yeah, white girls.
It took me a minute to look at their hairstyle. That was 100%. These is all black girl 90s hairstyles.
Yes, they want that black.
Look, she got the do-out. She got
stop, man.
Audiences were shocked.
Yeah, this the one that
Hollywood was scared because this wasn't fiction. This was the America no one wanted to talk about. But for those involved, it was a double-edged sword.